Well, let's deep in this discussion now with the former National Legal Advisor of the All Progressives Congress, Muiz Banire, and Chairman of the Progressives Youth Movement, Mustapha Audu. Also joining us is the Rice Political Editor and Director of News, SUMNER SAMBO. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us tonight. Let me start with you, Dr. Banire. You have been critical of the party APC. In fact, you said the APC will implode any moment from now. I want to ask you, with the change that was done at the leadership of the Caretaker Committee today, does your prophecy still stand, or do you agree with those who say the APC is reinventing itself?
To the best of my knowledge, I can tell you for free that no leadership change has taken place in APC. To the best of my knowledge, what has taken place is more or less a situation where somebody is on leave and the next person in command is acting. So no change in leadership, to the best of my knowledge, has occurred. It's still same.
Still same, says Muiz Banire. But let me bring it to Mustapha Audu here in the studio. Do you agree, I mean, with the notion that this may just be the beginning of the end of the APC, or is it truly a new beginning for the party? Is this a coup against Mai Malabuni? Did he have this coming?
First of all, good evening, ladies. Good evening, Nigerians. In all honesty, when we heard the news last night, it broke late last night and early this morning, all over social media, in fact, and some mainstream media. As the youth arm of the party, we progressed to the APC headquarters to make sure that things were functioning the way they were supposed to be functioning. And in all honesty, we interacted with our party leaders, we interacted with many people in the party, and it seems that there wasn't really a change of guard. What it was simply that His Excellency Mai Malabuni is out of the country, and there were scheduled programs for today building up to the convention, and His Excellency Governor Sani Bello of Niger State took his place, you know, as his second in command and deputy in the CECPC. So it's clear that all of this is just, I mean, some of it is propaganda, some of it is actually things trying to happen to advance what is going on. But as young people, all we know, all we want is to see that our leaders, you know, are leading us right. We're ready to follow them. We're ready to do what is necessary as long as there's youth inclusion. And we were there to make sure that no matter what was going on, the youth are still a part of the entire plan, which was the case, you know. And when we saw and we interacted with some of the governors, I think in your interview with His Excellency there, Governor Sani Bello, we're standing right behind him. And what he said was simple. He's acting in a capacity. He's operating in an acting capacity until His Excellency Mai Malabuni
your youth
returns.
movement had once sacked Mai Malabuni led Caretaker Committee, saying that the party had been in retrogression, you know, under him. What has changed?
Dialogue. That's long and short of it, dialogue. We were not dialoguing with the party. At that point, we didn't feel that the party recognized us. There are 35 million young people in the party registered out of the 41 million people. So we deserved a sizable seat on the table. And as of last year, we were not even having dialogue. But this year, I'm proud to say, not only are we having dialogue, there are many things that are lined up for young people. There are many things so far that has been promised. Those that the deliverables that are supposed to be happening right away, the leadership of the party is doing. So we're not here to fault or fight the leadership of the party.
Well, you seem to be saying this is a win for the youth caucus, but let me bring in our political editor into this conversation. SUMNER SAMBO, what do you think happened today with the APC? Dr. Muiz Banire says nothing changed. And Audu here is saying that it was just a change of guard, nothing more than that. What happened to the APC today?
Thank you, Adeswa. Well, clearly to our viewers, you would have seen Governor Abubakar Sani Bello saying that he's in charge as the acting national chairman. And what this means is that there's actually a change of guard, because he couldn't have said that if he didn't have some backing from the presidency to actually present himself as the person who's steering the affairs of the Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee. Now, if you look at the boldness, yes, he is actually the vice chairman of the Caretaker Committee, based on what Muiz Banire has said. But for this governor to come out and preside over this Caretaker Committee meeting, swearing in the state chairmen who were previously inaugurated but not sworn in, and for him to actually come out and receive the zoning report from Governor Abdulrazak of Kwara State, all of these functions can only, and I say it, they can only be performed by an acting national chairman or the chairman of the Caretaker Committee. And if we are to put things in perspective, there is nowhere my Malabuni had ever told any party member through a memo or even spoken that he handed over the running of the party to Governor Abubakar Sani Bello. So it is very clear that Governor Abubakar Sani Bello, by his action today, has been given a directive purportedly from President Muhammadu Buhari, like we have heard, and he's carrying out that directive. And to carry out those directives, you can see that the security operatives were given the go-ahead to secure the party secretariat. And initially, last night, Yekini Nabena, who's the spokesman of the Malabuni group, has said that Governor Abubakar Sani Bello lacks the powers to actually do this. But you can see him doing it today. So in actual sense, while the APC members wouldn't want us to think that there's a change of guard, we can editorially conclude tonight at Arise News that Governor Abubakar Sani Bello, based on his own words and his action today, is actually in charge of the APC for now.
All right, let me bring in Muiz Banire. If indeed President Muhammadu Buhari gave a directive, purportedly so, if he did give a directive, does he have the powers to remove or even install a party chairman, though in acting capacity? And based on what SUMNER just said there, I mean, without a formal NEC resolution, can the governor of Niger State, who is now acting chairman of the interim committee, can he go ahead with swearing in, or should he have gone ahead to swear in the state chairman? What does that portend?
Thank you very much for that, Coach. I was going to say that we need to situate all these issues in context. Firstly, it's not possible for President Muhammadu Buhari to have dissolved even the caretaker or even remove Buni as the caretaker chairman. He lacked that authority and the power to do so. So that couldn't have taken place. If I thought anything like that has been done, certainly it would be illegal and it will contravene even the constitution of the party. So I believe and I'm convinced and I'm very positive about it that nothing like that has taken place. I'm aware that what has happened is simply a situation where somebody goes, just like the president has stepped aside now and Vice President Yemi Achipajo is acting as President Yemi Achipajo will preside over the usual VEC meeting and other activities that are lined up. And exactly that is what is being implemented. It's nothing extraordinary as far as I'm concerned. And like you rightly observe, it's only the neck of the party that can dissolve the caretaker committee. And to the best of my knowledge, no such neck has taken place. So to that extent, it's just a situation, as the man rightly put His Excellency, the governor of Niger State, that is only acting. And to the extent that he's acting, he has all the powers of the substantive chairman of the caretaker committee equally. So that's why I said to you that nothing really has changed. All that has happened is that somebody is not on seat and the other person is acting in his absence. Simple. And that is the situation. Any other situation that has been conveyed editorially using the word of SUMNER, that the man is a substantive chairman, maybe based upon the sack of the SY chairman of the committee, certainly be unconstitutional. It will contravene the constitution of the APC.
Indeed, and you are the former legal advisor of the party, and I was going to ask you the implications of this, this change of guard, which we have refused to see editorially. What does this imply for the APC going forward?
Well, I'm not seeing any change of guard other than somebody stepping in to act in the absence of the substantive man. Simple. So it has no implication for now. It will have had implication if it were to be a situation of sack as it's been described in some quarters. In that way, for me, it will endanger not only their convention, it will endanger all their candidature in the future.
And that's the fundamental question. This convention, Mustapha Audu, that's been shifted, at least since November 2021, it's been shifted 3 times. And, well, slated for March 26. What are the guarantees that with all this drama unfolding on a daily basis towards March 26, that convention will actually hold? If it doesn't hold, what then for the APC? Because it has a 3-week window to actually inform INEC of its convention.
Absolutely, you're absolutely correct. There is that window. Right now, as we know, a letter has been transmitted to INEC stating that our convention will take place on the 26th. Your question is very pertinent. When we were having our resolution with the party leadership, that was the same question we raised. How do we go out and tell the Nigerian public, how do we go out and tell the young people that the convention will hold when it's been moved again and again? And it was simple. They asked us to prefer solutions to this. And we said, there's a convention planning committee. You have to put a number of us young people, at least a minimum of 20 people. The party went ahead and put almost 25 people in there just to make sure that we're following the progress. And it spread across all the committees to make sure that we're functioning. Today was inauguration of the committees. Today was receiving of the report from His Excellency, the Governor of Kwara State, as well as the inauguration of the state chairman. So these are the activities that are in place. We were there throughout the whole day monitoring everything that happened, making sure things were done properly, making sure that we could discern between if there was actually a new leadership or it was the same leadership or exactly what was going on. And just like everybody that spoke previously had said, of course, except your reporter, it's clear that what had happened, because we ended up having to discuss and interrogate our leadership to make sure that things are set right. And it's very simple here. It's the same thing that has happened, just new leadership has come in place simply because His Excellency Mai Mala Buni is not in the country. And I believe that once he comes back, he would take over leadership.
Extra policemen to be on ground today at the Buhari house.
All
right.
There were certain events taking place, you know, just like I mentioned.
And talking about those events, that's why I like to bring in SUMNER into this conversation. Because as we do know, Dr. Muiz Banire, even though he has referred to the APC in the past tense in the course of this conversation, as though he's no longer a member, and Audu, who is an active member, SUMNER should be the one to help us with this situation. SUMNER, a number of issues came to light today. We do not know who gave the decision of what happened today, purportedly the president, but there was also another issue, a court order to delay the cause of the National Convention. What can you tell us about that?
Thank you, Adesua. Now, at the height of our investigation among top party leaders of the APC, we discovered that there's a November 18 court judgment that was issued against the All Progressives Congress, stopping it from going ahead with its plans for a national convention. And what party leaders told Arise News is that that judgment was hidden by the Caretaker Extraordinary Planning Committee chaired by the Mai Mala Buni-led Caretaker Committee. Now, that document wasn't brought to the light, and what party leaders told us is that that document was being used as a bait for the party that when it gets to 3 days before the March 26th National Convention, it will be brought out, and that will be used as an excuse to actually shift the convention again, and thereby giving the Caretaker Committee the opportunity to actually be the one that will organize not just the convention to elect party leaders, but also conduct the party primaries, because it would have been late as a then to separate the convention from party primaries. So the Buni-led Caretaker Committee will now be forced to organize both the primaries and then the convention. And this were some of the things we were told by party leaders were made available to President Muhammadu Buhari, and he cut short his trip to London and he flew back to Nigeria, and he took this decision before eventually deciding to go to London on Sunday. Now, coming to what Dr. Muiz Banire had raised earlier, these are critical issues. Now, if you look at it legally, you see that the party was trying to avoid legal troubles. So what did they do? Instead of bringing someone from outside to impose and have a new caretaker committee, they simply brought Governor Sani Bello, who is the vice chairman of the caretaker committee, to take over from Maimala Buni so that there will be no legal issues. So you still have the same caretaker committee in place. And it's based on this that Akpan Audu Odehe, initially as the national secretary, said Governor Sani Bello didn't have the mandate to go ahead and chair the caretaker committee. But when he saw the signals and where this information was coming from, he had to reverse himself. Now the question to the APC members in the House is that why did the national secretary, Senator Akpan Audu Odehe, who had clearly stated that this was fake news and that Governor Abubakar Sani Bello didn't have powers to convene that meeting, eventually decide to go into the meeting and be on the same table with this gentleman who also happened to be Buni's vice chairman before Buni went on leave. And what party leaders are telling us is that it was actually a safe landing for Governor Buni, and Governor Sani Bello was brought in to replace him.
All right, Dr. Muiz Banire, is that what it is? I'm sure you heard everything SUMNER SAMBO had to say there. First of all, was a soft landing for Maimala Buni to just ease him off and allow the vice chairman to take over. And then again, it's from one governor to another. That was already an issue in the case of, Maimala Buni. Respond to all the issues raised by SUMNER.
Well, I think that we should just ask the youth, the chairman of the Youth Progressive Movement to answer that. He's an insider. I'm not an insider. I'm not part of the party. So he can answer that aspect relating to what changed in terms of the secretary's position between yesterday and today. I might not be in a position to respond to that. But with regard to the EU you raised pertaining to substituting one governor for another, of course, the EU has been hinted in the case of Akeredolu, and I still believe that the party itself is trending a very, very dangerous route with that decision. I am of the very firm view that if you look at the APC constitution, it's a contravention simply for anybody who is occupying any government office to be leading the political party, regardless of whether you are earning salary or you are not earning any emolument. It's a contravention. So I still maintain that position, and I believe that the APC constitution is clear on it, very, very clear.
Meaning that anything that happens at the National Convention will be ratified. So anything that has happened prior, once you come to the National Convention, a higher body is making that decision. So even if His Excellency Maimala Buni had made any decision that is not perceived as legal, at the stage of the National Convention, it is the National Convention making that decision. And since the National Convention is the highest decision-making body, once the National Convention makes that decision, then it's ratified legally. So yes, there have been some legal issues with the party. Likewise, we have voiced some of these legal issues, but we believe that there are ways around it. He was the former legal advisor, so he knows exactly what I'm saying. It's stated categorically there in our constitution that the highest decision-making body is the National Convention. Therefore, any decision that was made prior to the National Convention, at the National Convention, it can either be ratified or thrown out. If it's ratified, it means that it is the National Convention that made that decision and not a lower body like the CCPC. So that's the real difference.
Okay, thank you so much. All of you gentlemen, Muiz Banire, former APC legal advisor, Mustapha Audu, chairman Progressive Youth Movement, and of course our own SUMNER SAMBO political editor, Arise News. Thank you all of you for joining us.